You ever notice how someone can say, I'm fine, but everything about them is screaming the opposite? Their arms are crossed. They won't look at you. Their jaw is clenched. Yeah, they're definitely not fine. Look, we've all seen fake smiles. You know the ones I'm talking about. When someone's being polite, but their eyes look dead inside. Maybe it's a cashier having a rough day or someone at a party who really doesn't want to be there. The smile is there, but something feels off about it. Real attraction creates a completely different type of smile. When she's genuinely happy to see you or something you said made her day, her entire face participates. The muscles around her eyes contract naturally, creating those little wrinkles at the corners. Some people call them crow's feet, but honestly, they're beautiful because they're authentic. Here's what makes this so powerful. You can't fake this smile. You can force your mouth into the right shape all day long, but those eye muscles, they only activate during genuine emotion. It's why you can always tell the difference between someone laughing at a joke because it's actually funny versus someone being polite. But the smile itself is only half the equation. What really matters is the eye contact that comes with it. When she's smiling at you with her whole face and holding your gaze, even for just a few seconds longer than normal, that's significant. Most people break eye contact quickly. It's comfortable, it's safe, but maintaining that connection while smiling takes intention. Think about how you feel when someone looks at you that way. There's warmth there, there's presence. She's not thinking about her phone or what she needs to do later. In that moment, you have her attention and you're making her happy. The combination of these two things, the genuine smile plus sustained eye contact, creates a moment of real connection. It's her body's way of saying, I enjoy being around you without the vulnerability of actually speaking those words out loud. And if you're seeing this happen repeatedly, not just once or twice, you're witnessing authentic interest expressing itself in the most natural way possible. Personal space is something we all guard without even thinking about it. Stand too close to a stranger on an empty sidewalk and watch how quickly they step away. We've got these invisible boundaries programmed into us, and we're pretty protective of them. But attraction changes everything. When someone's interested in you, those invisible walls start coming down. It's not a conscious decision, it just happens. Her body wants to be closer to yours, and she starts acting on that instinct without even realizing it. Watch what happens when you're having a conversation. If she's leaning forward, especially when there's no practical reason to do so, that's telling. She could hear you just fine from where she is, but she's choosing to close that gap anyway. It's like there's a magnetic pull happening. Pay attention to seating choices too. When there's a group setting and multiple seating options, does she choose the spot next to you? Not across the table where she could see you better, but right beside you where your shoulders might brush against each other. That's not random. Walking together reveals a lot as well. Most people maintain a comfortable distance when walking side by side, maybe a foot or so of space. But when there's attraction, that distance shrinks naturally. You might even notice your arms occasionally touching as you walk, and she doesn't pull away or create more space. She's comfortable with that proximity. Here's the thing about this sign, it's completely natural and unforced. She's not thinking, I should stand closer to him. Her body is just responding to how she feels. The desire for closeness is one of the most primal indicators of attraction we have. If you notice her consistently finding ways to be physically near you, choosing the closer option when given a choice, that's her body speaking a language that's impossible to fake. There's this fascinating thing that happens when two people really connect. They start moving in sync without planning it. It's like watching two dancers who've never rehearsed together but somehow know each other's next move. You pick up your coffee cup, and a few seconds later, she reaches for hers. You shift your weight and lean back, and she does the same shortly after. You cross your legs, and suddenly she's mirroring that exact position. This isn't her consciously copying you. It's her body creating harmony with yours. Scientists have studied this for years, and what they've found is pretty amazing. When we feel rapport with someone, when we're attracted and comfortable, our brains start synchronizing our movements with theirs. It's an ancient social bonding mechanism that goes way back in human evolution. The timing matters here. It's not immediate mimicry, which would feel weird and obvious. There's usually a few seconds delay, sometimes more. It flows naturally, like a call and response in music. You make a gesture while telling a story, and moments later she's using similar hand movements when she responds. Even breathing patterns can sync up during deep conversation. Your speech rhythms might start matching. If you talk with your hands, she might start doing the same.
If you tend to tilt your head when listening, you might catch her doing it too. What makes this so powerful is that it happens below the level of conscious awareness. She's not thinking, let me copy his body language. Her nervous system is literally tuning itself to match yours because that's what happens when two people are genuinely connecting. You can actually feel it when this synchronization is happening. The conversation flows easier. Silences don't feel awkward. There's a rhythm to the interaction that just feels right. That's two bodies communicating in perfect harmony, saying we're on the same wavelength without a single word. When we feel threatened or uncomfortable, our bodies automatically go into protection mode. Arms fold across the chest, shoulders hunch forward. We turn away slightly. It's like we're building a physical barrier between ourselves and whatever's making us uneasy. Attraction does the exact opposite. When she's interested in you, her body opens up completely. Her arms hang naturally at her sides or rest openly on the table. Her shoulders are relaxed and pulled back. Most importantly, her torso faces directly toward you, not angled away like she's ready to escape. This open posture is a vulnerability signal. Think about it. When you uncross your arms and face someone fully, you're exposing your vital organs, your heart, your core. From an evolutionary standpoint, you only do this around people you trust and feel safe with. Her body is literally saying, I don't need to protect myself from you. Watch what she does with her hands and neck. If she's touching her neck, playing with a necklace, or brushing hair away from her throat, these are all exposure gestures. The neck is one of the most vulnerable parts of the body, and drawing attention to it is a subconscious signal of comfort and attraction. Her wrists tell a story too. When someone's closed off, their wrists stay hidden or protected. But when she's engaged and interested, you'll see her wrists. Maybe she's gesturing with open palms or resting her hand on the table with her inner wrist visible. These soft, vulnerable areas only get revealed around people we're drawn to. Even her feet are worth noticing. This sounds strange, but feet are incredibly honest. We can control our facial expressions and even our arm positions, but most people never think about their feet. If her feet are pointed toward you, even when her body is engaged with others, that's where her real interest lies. Touch is incredibly powerful, but it's also risky. You can't just reach out and touch someone you're attracted to without risking making things awkward or crossing a line. So what happens instead is this beautiful dance of accidental contact that's not really accidental at all. She laughs at something you said and lightly touches your forearm for just a second. It feels spontaneous and natural, but it's actually her creating a moment of physical connection while maintaining plausible deniability. If you don't respond well, she can play it off as nothing. If you do respond well, she's opened a door. You'll notice these touches happen during specific moments. When she's emphasizing a point in conversation, her hand might land on your shoulder. When you're teasing each other and she playfully pushes you, that's physical contact disguised as play. When she's reaching for something and brushes against you despite having plenty of room, that's intentional. The key is frequency and her reaction to your response. If these accidents keep happening, they're not accidents. She's testing the waters, seeing how comfortable you are with her in your physical space. And if you reciprocate, if you're relaxed about it, or initiate some casual contact yourself, the touches usually increase. Pay attention to where she touches. Arms and shoulders are safe zones, socially acceptable places to touch someone you don't know intimately. But these brief contacts are building familiarity and comfort. Each touch is like asking a question. Is this okay? Can we be closer? There's also the lingering factor. A truly accidental touch is quick. You pull away immediately. But when there's attraction involved, the contact lasts just a beat longer than necessary. Her hand stays on your arm for an extra second. When you're sitting side by side and your knees touch, neither of you moves away. Your voice is more revealing than you might think. We all sound different depending on who we're talking to, and when attraction enters the picture, those vocal changes become even more pronounced. Listen to how she speaks when she's around you versus when she's talking to other people. There's often a softness that appears, a slight drop in volume that creates intimacy even in a crowded room. By speaking more quietly, she's drawing you in closer, forcing you to lean in to hear her better. It creates this bubble around just the two of you. Her pitch might shift slightly higher too. Research shows this happens unconsciously during flirtation. It's a biological response we can't really control. The change isn't dramatic or cartoonish, just a subtle lift that makes her voice sound warmer and more engaging. Then there's the laughter. When someone's into you, they laugh more freely at things you say. And I'm not talking about pity laughs or polite chuckles. It's genuine, unreserved laughter that comes easily, even when your joke wasn't that great. She finds you funnier than you probably are because she's enjoying your company and the connection you're building. The quality of her engagement matters just as much as the sound of her voice. She asks follow-up questions. She remembers small details you mentioned in previous conversations and brings them up later. When you're talking, her phone stays in her pocket or face down on the table. She's not scanning the room or looking distracted. There's an energy in how she participates in conversation with you. Her responses aren't one-word answers or obligatory replies. She's investing herself in the exchange, building on what you say, sharing her own stories and thoughts. Her voice carries enthusiasm and presence that tells you this conversation matters to her, that you matter to her, even if she hasn't said those words directly yet. So here's what all of this comes down to. Human beings are constantly communicating, even when we're not saying a word. We're social creatures wired for connection, and our bodies have been speaking this language of attraction for thousands of years before we ever developed the vocabulary to talk about our feelings. When you see these signs showing up together, when she's smiling with her whole face while holding your gaze, standing closer than necessary, mirroring your movements, keeping her body open and relaxed around you, finding reasons to touch your arm, and changing how she speaks when you're near, that's not coincidence. That's genuine interest expressing itself in the most natural way possible. But here's what I really want you to take away from this. Don't turn into someone who obsesses over every little gesture. Don't sit there with a mental checklist analyzing whether she touched her hair 3 times or 4. That's going to make you anxious, and it's going to kill the natural flow of getting to know someone. Instead, just be present. Notice how you feel around her. Notice how she seems to feel around you. If the energy is good, if things feel easy and natural, if you catch yourself both leaning in rather than pulling away, trust that. Your body knows what's happening even if your brain is trying to overthink it. And remember, these signals go both ways. If you're interested too, let yourself relax into it. Smile back, close that distance, let the conversation flow, return those light touches when it feels right. Your body will communicate your interest just as clearly as hers is communicating to you. At some point, though, words do matter. Body language opens the door. But real connection requires actual conversation. If you're both feeling it, eventually someone needs to be brave enough to move things forward with actual words. The beautiful thing about recognizing these signs is that they give you confidence. When you know the interest is mutual, taking that next step feels less terrifying. You're not shooting in the dark. You're responding to something real that's already happening between you. So pay attention to what bodies are saying, trust what you're seeing, and don't be afraid to explore where that connection might lead. Sometimes the best conversations are the ones we have without ever opening our mouths.